Park rangers are trained to ignore certain sounds in the forest, because sometimes, following them leads to things that don't make sense. Most people think a ranger's job is routine: patrol trails, check campsites, help lost hikers. But during night patrols, especially in remote parks, rangers come across things that don't fit any report, and don't have clear explanations. These are 6 real types of disturbing things rangers have found while working alone in the dark. In a dense forest in the Pacific Northwest, a ranger was doing a routine night patrol along a closed trail just after midnight. The trail had been shut down for months due to storm damage. No visitors were supposed to be anywhere near it. As he walked, everything felt normal at first. Just the usual sounds: wind moving through trees, distant insects, the occasional branch shifting. But then, his radio started picking up faint static. Not unusual. Except the static began forming patterns. Short bursts. Pauses. Then repeating again. He stopped walking and listened. It almost sounded like someone trying to transmit something, but failing. He checked the frequency. It was clear. No active calls. No other rangers nearby. Then he noticed footprints on the trail. Fresh ones. They were heading deeper into the closed area. He followed them for a few minutes before realizing something was off. The prints didn't come from behind him. There was no starting point. They just began in the middle of the trail. No entry. No exit. Just a line of footprints that appeared out of nowhere and continued into the darkness. He reported it the next morning. No one could explain how tracks could exist without a starting point. And when they returned to check, the footprints were gone. In a desert park in the Southwest, a ranger was assigned to check an isolated campground that hadn't been used in weeks. It was well past midnight when he arrived. The place was completely empty. Or at least, it should have been. As he walked between the campsites, he noticed one fire pit still warm. Not burning, but recently used. He scanned the area with his flashlight. No tents. No vehicles. No people. Just the faint smell of smoke in the air. He called it in. No permits had been issued. No reports of campers. Then something else caught his attention. A folding chair was set up near the fire pit, facing away from the campsite, toward the open desert. And next to it, a second chair. Both positioned perfectly, as if 2 people had been sitting there, watching something in the distance. He walked out past the chairs and looked ahead. There was nothing there. Just miles of empty desert. When he turned back, he noticed something unsettling. The chairs were slightly angled now. Not by much, but enough that they were no longer pointing straight ahead. He was certain they hadn't been like that before. He left the area immediately. When the site was checked again in daylight, the chairs were gone. No tracks. No signs anyone had ever been there. In a heavily wooded national park in the eastern U.S., a ranger was responding to reports of a hiker hearing voices off-trail at night. The hiker insisted someone was calling for help. But when the ranger arrived, the area was empty. Still, he decided to investigate. He moved slowly off the marked trail, using a flashlight to scan the trees. At first, nothing. Then he heard it. A voice. Faint. Distant. "Help me."
Hello? Is anyone out
It
there?
sounded human. Clear enough to understand. He called out, asking where they were. No response. Then, a few seconds later, the same voice again. "Help me." Same tone. Same pitch. Same exact words. He moved toward the sound. But something felt wrong. The timing. The repetition. It wasn't natural. Real people don't repeat the exact same phrase the exact same way. He stopped moving. The voice came again. Closer this time. "Help me." But he hadn't moved forward. He slowly backed away toward the trail. The voice didn't follow. It just kept repeating, from the same spot. When a search team returned the next morning, they found nothing. No lost hikers. No camps. No signs of anyone being there. But multiple rangers later admitted they had heard the same thing, in that exact area. Always at night. Always the same voice. In a mountainous region, a ranger was patrolling a high-altitude trail known for sudden weather changes. It was late evening, and fog had started rolling in. Visibility dropped fast. He decided to turn back toward the station. That's when he noticed someone ahead on the trail. A figure. Standing still. Partially obscured by the fog. He called out, asking if they needed help. No response. He moved closer. The figure didn't move. As he got within about 30 feet, he realized something was off. The person wasn't dressed for the environment. No gear. No backpack. No jacket. Just standing there. Facing away. He took a few more steps forward. And then the figure shifted slightly. Not walking. Not turning. Just repositioning in a way that didn't look natural. Like a delayed reaction. He stopped
Hello?
immediately.
Is anyone out there?
The figure didn't move again. The fog thickened. For a moment, he lost sight of it completely. And when the fog cleared just enough to see again, the trail was empty. There was nowhere for anyone to go. Steep drops on both sides. No side paths. No sound of movement. Just gone. He reported it, assuming it was a disoriented hiker. But no missing persons were ever reported in that area. And no footprints were found on the trail. But one report didn't just confuse rangers, it changed how some of them approached night patrols altogether. In a remote forest in the northern U.S., a ranger was assigned to check on a series of trail cameras that had stopped transmitting data. This wasn't unusual. Equipment fails. But all the cameras had gone offline at the same time. He reached the first camera around 1 a.m. It was mounted to a tree about 10 feet off the ground. Completely intact. But powered off. The battery was still full. He turned it back on. It worked immediately. Then he checked the footage. Everything looked normal, animals passing by, wind moving branches. Until the final clip. The timestamp showed just before the signal cut out. The camera was pointed at an empty section of forest. Nothing moving. Then suddenly, the image distorted. Static. Brief interference. And then, something passed in front of the camera. Too fast to identify. But close enough to block the entire frame for a fraction of a second. After that, the feed cut completely. He moved on to the next camera. Same thing. Powered off. Full battery. Final clip showing distortion, then something crossing the lens. All at nearly the exact same time. He checked 3 more cameras. Every single one had the same pattern. No visible cause. No explanation for what triggered them all to shut down simultaneously. And whatever passed in front of the cameras was never clearly captured. In a large national park known for backcountry camping, a ranger received a late-night alert from an emergency call box along a rarely used trail. These boxes are designed to be used only in real emergencies. They send a direct signal to the ranger station when activated. The signal came in just after 2 a.m. The ranger responded immediately. It took him nearly 40 minutes to reach the location. The trail was completely empty. No hikers. No movement. No sound. He approached the call box. The indicator light was still on, confirming it had been activated recently. He picked up the receiver. Silence. No recorded message. Just an open line. He checked the surrounding area. No footprints. No dropped gear. Nothing to suggest anyone had been there. Then he noticed something unusual. The ground around the call box was slightly disturbed. Not like someone had been walking. More like something had been standing there for a long time. He called it in and waited for backup. While standing there, he heard something behind him. A faint clicking sound. He turned around. Nothing. Just trees. Then the sound again. Closer. A slow, irregular clicking. Not mechanical. Not animal. Something else. He shined his light into the trees. Still nothing visible. But the sound stopped instantly. Backup arrived shortly after. They searched the area thoroughly. No source for the sound. No signs of any person. But when they reviewed the system logs later, they found something strange. The call box hadn't been activated once. It had been triggered multiple times. Over a span of nearly 10 minutes. As if something kept pressing it. Over and over again. Rangers are trained to rely on patterns. To explain what they see. To make sense of the environment around them. But sometimes, there are no patterns. Just moments that don't connect, and details that don't lead anywhere. And according to some rangers, those are the ones they remember the most. Because every now and then, during night patrol, something happens that they still can't explain.